Good afternoon. Welcome back to Drunk Monkey Garage. I'm Clyde. We got Pac-Man. You've seen videos of his with the painting. Doing a fantastic job. But then there's me, Clyde, and then Wick. I think you may have saw a video with the three of us in it for New Year's or something like that. But anyhow, what we got going on today is something different than what you've been watching. I got a 2016 CVO Road Glide that the compensator, we're going to replace that, the plugs and wires, and then also do a 3-hole oil change since we already have the primary cover off. But eventually the customer wants to go with new tires front and rear, or new tire front and rear, new wheel bearings, new brake pads all the way around, and then flush the brake lines for the front and rear, because the brake fluid is, I think it's probably about 5 years old, maybe 6 years old. And you're supposed to do it about every couple of years. But anyways, I figure I'd throw something different at you, for a change. And the mechanical side of Drunk Monkey Garage, like I said, Pac-Man, he focuses on the painting, and then he does participate, in the repairs when he's not busy with painting, but today he is busy. So I'll swing around here and give you a quick view of the bike. She's a beaut. Yeah, she is a beaut. And for those that don't know what a compensator is, it's right here. You got the ramps that it rides up on. It essentially what it designed. I'm going to generalize or summarize it here. What it does is when your engine is with the pistons being offset the way they are, you get it takes the strain off of the rest of the drivetrain, the clutch and the transmission, so you're not pounding it. But anyhow, this is she's filthy right now because we're confirming that the compensator was bad. So of course we're slinging some oil. So, but every time we work on a bike, it gets a complimentary bath when we're done. So sometimes the customer will want to go with ceramic coating, But like I said, keep checking the videos. Hopefully you get notifications if you ring the bell. And then we've got another one coming down the pipe. 2009 CVO Ultra Classic. We're going to be doing a full audio conversion on that. That's going to be several videos, so keep an eye out for it. Okay, we're back. It is a few days have gone by, and what I didn't realize is I put the compensator in the new one, and didn't even think about videoing it. I just was in the groove. So, but anyhow, the old compensator, you look at the ramps. Let's see if I can get this on camera. Let's see if I can get the light right. Over here. Right here, you can see it's pretty beat up. And then same on these spokes. One in particular is real bad. This one over here. But the spokes are pretty beat up. So I'm pretty sure that's what's causing our low end noise. And realistically, it's about in my opinion, it's probably the cheapest thing to replace first. When I took it apart, took the primary cover off, there was quite a bit of movement in the compensator. I couldn't do it real easy with my hand. I could do it, I could do partly my problem is a hand injury, but I could move it a little bit, but when I got a straight blade screwdriver in here, it moved real easy. So the just looking at it and how it's polished and grooved leads me to believe that the compensator is probably, if not all of the noise, it's a great part of the low end noise coming out this bike. So what I'm going to do now is put the primary cover back on, or yeah, install the primary cover, get the primary fluid in it, install the derby cover, the footboard, the shifter, the rear passenger peg. Then as soon as I get done with this, I have to flush the front and rear brakes, the master cylinders and the lines. As I stated earlier in the video, it's been a number of years, and unfortunately DOT 4 brake fluid does not have a long life. It soaks up moisture, and in fact there's testers that you could use to check the moisture level. I haven't done it on this yet because I haven't opened up the master cylinders on the front and rear brakes, but I'm guessing, as long as it's been, that probably way overdue. So that'll be next. Then after that, give it back to the customer, and not too far down the road, like everybody, you know, you get a budget for things. He wants to replace the front and rear tire, front and rear wheel bearings, which people will disagree with me, and I really don't care because I'm that kind of guy. But typically, when I replace tires for customers, I suggest to them to replace the wheel bearings because it really doesn't cost that much. And if you're running that tight, well, then you got bigger problems. But to go through all that work, especially on the rear, you know, pulling the rear tire off, the rear wheel assembly off to put a new tire on, you might as well, you're in that deep, you know, replace the wheel bearings and be done with it. So yeah, that's then he also wants to do brake pads. Again, you know, I mean, the brake pads, you know, you could do those without pulling the wheels, but you know, you're in there, you might as well. And I think, I'm trying to remember, I think the brake pads are getting close. You know, maybe 1,000 miles left on them or something like that, if I remember correctly. But yeah, I always, whenever I mount tires for people and balance them, you know, we always, here at Drunk Monkey, we always recommend new bearings. Because I know my luck. I would, you know, try to save money, instead of replacing the wheel bearings, you know, go, no, they feel okay, you know, because you can spin them in the hub a little bit, you know, and they don't feel like they have gravel, you know, that the bearings are riding on. Well, you go, they'll be okay. And then, sure as shoot, you get down the road a couple 1,000 miles, and you got a wheel bearing going. Then it gets expensive. And you're kind of at the mercy of a shop. Oh, and in case you haven't noticed, I always get a piece of cardboard. It's just a very old habit. Get a piece of cardboard, and I put the bolts in the sequence so that I don't have to either pull a shop manual or look it up online to see what pattern is for the bolts. It's just an old habit. And these are going to be torqued down to 8 foot-pounds. I think it's like, God, I want to say like 96 to 108 inch-pounds. But 8 foot-pounds is about the middle of the road. So I'll just spin them in. I don't like using any kind of air ratchets, or, you know, I've got my DeWalt cordless. You know, it's like, again, it's the old school in me. You know, I could feel with this if there's any kind of cross threading or the threads feel weird. So before you do damage on the inner primary using a, you know, mechanical tool, you know, air ratchet or whatever, spin them in like this, and then you'll feel if there's going to be any kind of damage. You know, catch it before it does any significant damage. I mean, but everybody has their own ways. I've seen guys use an impact, half-inch drive impact, to take the bolt that holds the compensator in off. And then and every time I see that, I want to throw up, because it's like, you do realize there's magnets in that stator that you're now beating the heck out of with an impact. But, and the sad thing is, a lot of times it's just, well, it's one of two things. It's either their old habits, you know, they used to, you know, they're used to using an impact for pretty much everything, or cordless impacts, or they're just lazy, you know, to sit here and do this like I am. You know, yeah, it could be that simple. It could be just sheer laziness. All right. And I typically back off all the way on my torque wrench and then run it back in. I don't know. Just, again, it's an old habit. The first one. Double check that. it had snow, this would be bad enough to cover the grass. And of course, my truck. I'm just scraping windows. Of course, it starts off as rain and switches to snow. And I'm not getting constantly running the wipers. It's got munched off. Watching the news one day. It's like the CVO of Harley got whacked on the board of directors. They'll work on bringing these walls down. Folks. Had a heck of a time getting this derby cover off. The hole snapped. It's falling out. There where I left it. Why these aren't chrome? Just, especially being a CVO. I'm kind of OCD when it comes to this stuff. You know, the HD and part number and everything. I put it on so that it's up, even though you can't see it. Girl needs a bath. I said earlier, slung a lot of, we slung a lot of oil. Checking that compensator. Starting to know. That's what it's doing. Well, for whatever reason, my camera shut down. So, as you can see, I got the primary on. I got the derby cover back on. Added the primary fluid, all of which I thought was recording, but So anyways, got the shifter lever on, got the floorboard on, got the passenger footboards on, and there's no sign of any leak by the drain plug or around the gasket. So that's it for tonight. I apologize again for the camera shutting down, but stuff happens. But we'll be back out here tomorrow morning. Let me flip this. Yeah, we'll be back out here tomorrow morning, and then what I want to do is get the front and rear brakes flushed, new dot 40 or dot 4 in there, and then get the that'll be it for that. And then right after that, then I'm probably going to give her a bath, because she is pretty filthy from me mainly. You know, like I said, I think it was missed in the recording, or the lack of recording, but when checking the compensator with the primary cover off, you'll tend to sling oil. So yeah, I've got oil down the left side of this a bit. Not too bad, but we'll get her cleaned up. So that's it. We're done for the night. My back can't take much more tonight. I will see you tomorrow morning-ish. Well, so what next day, and we're going to work on the flushing the brake system, front and rear. And typical Harley, the rear master cylinder, to get the cap off the lid, one screw is accessible, the outboard screw is accessible, but the inboard screw, the downpipe is in the way, the header pipe. So you have to, I looked at it and I was like, all right, well, I'll just take the master cylinder off, you know, or loose rather, so I could swing it out far enough to get that screw out. Oh wait, the right footboard's in my way. Oh, okay, so got to take the right footboard off to get to the bolts for the master cylinder mounting, so that I could pry it out far enough to get the inboard Phillips screw out of the lid of the master cylinder, so I could fill the reservoir. Gotta love these engineers, man. Anyways, so that now I already started on that. I got the passenger side footboard off. I got the lid loose, all the, you know, both screws out, and I have to. I just took the saddlebag off, because to open the bleeder on the caliper, you know, it's tucked behind the saddlebag. So I got that off, and now I'm getting ready to use the vacuum pump and bleed the brakes. So stand by. Okay, we're back. So I got vacuum pump all hooked up to the caliper, and to get the, as I said, to get the master cylinder off, I had to take the passenger board off, and then unbolt the master cylinder just to get to that back screw. So I can get the lid off now. And the fluid looks pretty atrocious. It's like brown, and it should be pretty clear. But we'll see See if this tester shows how much moisture content there is. If I can find it. Oop, there it is. Oop, there it is. Okay, I'm back. New battery in it. Let's see what we got. Yeah, I'd say we need to change this out. It's pegged. With that moisture in there, you know, it'll play heck with the caliper, everything. So why they would use .4, I don't know. But all right, so I got the vacuum pump all hooked up. Let's go. And always be careful with this, any brake fluid, doesn't matter what, if it's that 3, 4, 5, it will destroy your paint if you inadvertently spill some or drip some. It will definitely mess it up. So you want to make sure you wipe it up right away. And, you know, use like maybe Dawn dishwashing liquid or something to get any residual off the paint. Like all over my lift. Okay, we're going to wrap this one up. We did a lot of work on the bike, but the customer decided yesterday afternoon that he wants to go ahead and do the tires, pads, and bearings. I was going to give the bike a bath today, figuring he'd be picking it up this week. But now I'll hold off on giving her a bath, and we'll just the tires will be here on Thursday. I'll have to run out to the Harley dealer and get pads and bearings, or I might go through JMP. But appreciate you guys watching. I hope you found it a little different than what you're used to. Be sure to subscribe, hit the like button, and the bell so you get notified of more of our videos. But again, I appreciate your time and watching us. So take care.